You are listening to Productivity Straight Talk with your host, Amber De La Garza. Amber is a sought-after productivity coach, trainer, speaker, and writer who gives entrepreneurs the straight talk on personal productivity. No BS, fluff, or overused jargon. Just actionable strategies to get results and succeed in business. And here is your host, Amber De La Garza, the Productivity Specialist.
Welcome, and thank you for listening to Productivity Straight Talk. Today is episode 111, A Midsummer Night's Decision. If you're an entrepreneur who wants actionable solutions to maximize profits, reduce stress, and make time for what matters most, then you're in the right place, and I'm so glad you've joined me. My goal today is for you to realize it's halfway through the year. Yes, you heard me right. We are halfway through your year. You've come to a fork in the road, and you've got an important decision to make. Whether that's recommitting to your goals, recreating your strategy, and refocusing your efforts, or resetting your goals and creating a strategy to attain them. I'm looking forward to bringing this episode to you because you will discover the goals you should double down on, the goals you should put to bed, at least for now, tips for approaching the second half of the year with the right mindset, and so much more. Now, before we dive into today's topic, I want to let you know about one of the ways we can work together. I am jumping in here because I am so excited to share with you a program that was designed with you in mind. It serves driven and successful entrepreneurs who prefer the fast lane and want to achieve results sooner. It's my 3-part VIP Accelerator program. Part 1 is a single full VIP day in which we'll completely overhaul your productivity and shortcut your path to success. During your customized experience, we'll work distraction-free and uninterrupted to equip you with the tools, training, and coaching to accomplish your goals, all the way from strategy to execution. In Part 2, we'll continue meeting virtually to fill in the gaps. Why? Because building a foundation for success is not enough. You'll be held accountable for continuing to work your plan so that you don't plateau, but keep accelerating your success. In Part 3, you'll receive unlimited email and Voxer access to me so that I can support you to overcome any obstacles that you may stumble over while implementing and executing your strategic plan. Simply put, the VIP Accelerator program is a business coaching and strategy session on steroids for entrepreneurs who want results fast. And you've got choices. You can choose from my VIP Platinum or VIP Gold program to fit your current needs and budget. Ideal clients for my VIP Accelerator program are driven, successful entrepreneurs who want results fast. If that sounds like you, you'll have the opportunity to kick off your VIP Accelerator program with a VIP day with me in multiple cities around the US. This summer, you'll have the opportunity to book a day with me in Las Vegas, New York, and Orlando, with more cities to come. Check the website to find upcoming cities near you or to book your VIP Accelerator program now. Life is too short to feel stressed out, overwhelmed, and overworked day after day with little to show for it. If you're not 100% happy with the state of your business and you're working extra hours and days at the expense of your personal life, it's time to strategize with an expert to change your circumstances. It's time to get results fast. Book your VIP Accelerator program today at theproductivityspecialist.com/VIP. Again, that's theproductivityspecialist.com/VIP. And now let's get to the straight talk. Think back to waking up on January 1st. Remember how excited you were about the potential the new year presented? The opportunities, the clean slate. You started off with a bang and set really big goals. You showed up for yourself like you probably haven't done in quite a while. You went after your goals with intensity and determination. Somewhere down the line, though, you might have lost momentum, motivation, and drive. You hit a plateau and have been shuffling around there for a bit, not sure what next moves to make or if you can even get back on track. Perhaps you've allowed yourself to develop a negative mindset, which is preventing you from moving forward. After all, if you've already determined you've lost, you will. If you've already determined you don't have the right strategy, you won't. If you've already determined you don't have enough time to accomplish what you set out to do this year, then you won't. If your vision of what this year was going to look like January 1st is not aligning with your current reality, you've come to an important fork in the road. The year's halfway point. This episode is for you and it's decision time. However, I want to value your time. If you are slaying your goals, surpassing what you set out to do January 1st, and mindset and strategy are not holding you back right now, then I invite you to come back to a later episode or go back to my archives and listen to any of the previous 110 episodes. This episode is specifically for those who have found themselves at the halfway point in the year and it's not aligned with what they had set out to do. You need to make an important choice and run with it. Take the left and recommit to your goals, recreate your strategy, refocus your efforts. Or take the right, reset your goals, and create a strategy to attain them. Before we jump deep into each of the decisions, left or right, I want to paint a picture with you so that you can follow along. Let's just say that you had a revenue goal of, well, I like to keep it even. So whether it's $100, $100,000, or $100 million, we're going to use this example throughout the two separate options. So let's just say that your goal is to have made $100,000 for this year. And at the 6-month mark, you are not at the $50,000 mark, which means you are not on track to hit your annual goal. At this point is when you have a decision. Are you going to bring your $100,000 goal down to $65,000 or $75,000? Or are you going to go left and recommit to your goals, recreate your strategy, and refocus your efforts to still attain the $100,000? So my guess is, while there are businesses that are seasonal, we're going to assume that you had a goal of making $25,000 in Q1, $25,000 in Q2, $25,000 in Q3, and $25,000 in Q4. And so whatever you're off at the 6-month mark, and in this example, I'm going to say that we have made $25,000 year to date at the 6-month mark, which means we have a $25,000 deficit. If we go left, and we're going to go dive deep into that, then what we're going to do is recommit to your goals, recreate a strategy, and refocus your efforts to still achieve the $100,000 by the end of the year. Or you can go right and say that you are going to renegotiate your goals. And now maybe your goal is $75,000 or perhaps $65,000. And so now what is the strategy to get on point and to close out the year at the new goal based on whatever situation you are in life and the decision you made to go right? Okay, so left is your doubling down and right is your renegotiating your goals and setting up for a new strategy. So let's dive deep into going left. So going left means that you've come to the 6-month mark, you've got to make a decision, and you've decided that you're going to recommit to your goals, recreate your strategy, and refocus your efforts. If you feel that your goals are still attainable and you just need to attack them more ferociously or with a different strategy or a different mindset, but that it is still absolutely possible, then I want you to double down on your goals and yourself. Redetermine your strategy based on your current situation. The time you have to commit to it, the resources you have available, and the season of life that you're in. My guess is the last 6 months have given you a lot of information and data as to what's worked, what doesn't work, what resources do you need, what kind of time is it going to take to reach those goals. And you may have not had all that information when you set your goal at the end of last year or the beginning of this year. This data is invaluable. And so sometimes when we are in a negative mindset and we're not hitting our goals or we're not on track to hit our goals, we're approaching the situation maybe not as clear-minded as we would hope to be able to see it for what it is, analyze the data, and use that information to course correct. That's all this is a mid-year course correction. I want you to ask yourself questions like, what should I continue to do? Meaning, based on your strategy and the results you got, there is something that has worked. There's something that has worked with your strategy or where you're showing up or your marketing or your sales skills, the products that you've brought to the table, how you service your clients, how you show up for yourself. I want you to first identify, what do you need to continue doing to ensure that you're reaching your goals by the end of the year? The next question is, what should you be doing more of? So my guess is that there are things that you've stumbled upon over the last 6 months that are working, and you may have not even known that they worked until they worked. So identify those, and now you're going to commit to doing more of those. An example may be you stumbled upon Facebook Lives, and Facebook Lives are getting a lot of reach and interaction, and that wasn't initially part of your strategy. And right now you may be doing it when you feel like it. But if you've identified that to be something that works, then I want you to determine how can you do more of it purposely and put it into your schedule. Now, that's just one example. There are so many other things. Maybe you need to do more working out because you realize that keeps your energy high and your mindset clear. Perhaps you want to do more networking because that has served you well. What are you going to do more of? Next question, what should you be doing less of? Now, this is really important because I think that many times we focus on what we just need to stop doing when we're looking at creating a new strategy. Many times we can just commit to doing less of something, less negotiating with ourselves, less sabotaging ourselves, less telling ourselves no before the client tells us no, less distractions, less multitasking. What are you going to do less of that would serve you well to achieve your goals? Next question, what should you start doing? Now, this is a great one. And honestly, people usually jump to this one in the next question, which is, well, what should I start doing and what should I stop doing? Very drastic decisions. If you need to start doing something, you've probably identified a new strategy, a new marketing method, some way that you're going to serve your clients. So what do you need to start doing to ensure that you're going to reach your goals? The next one that I just alluded to is, what do you need to stop doing? Now, there is a lot of wins in what you're going to stop doing. In fact, the data that you have gotten back over the last 6 months is probably going to tell you what didn't work. So stop it. Reclaim that time and allocate that time to something that you want to continue doing, do more of, or start doing. You can't start doing something generally without stopping doing something else. That's kind of the nature of our personalities as entrepreneurs and business owners and achievers, is that we're generally running at full throttle all the time. And so we really need to consider, if we're going to be adding to our plate, what do we need to stop doing? Maybe you need to ask yourself the question of, were you doing it alone? Did you have the right team to support you and was in alignment with your goals and where you were going? Maybe you need a coach or a mentor, someone that can support you through this journey and handhold you and see the path for you on days that you don't see for yourself. I think that's a powerful way to use a coach by partnering with them, is that they're going to guide you along a path that they've already ventured down, and they're going to shortcut your path to success. I want you to ask yourself, do you have enough time? So if the answer is you don't have enough time, it may be why you're here listening to this podcast, right? Is that you're looking for ways to become more productive, more efficient, and reclaim time. Maybe that means that you need to say no to something in your life so that you can reclaim that time to say yes to other aspects of your life, such as goals in your business. What are you willing to delegate and outsource? So if you've been currently holding on to too much on your plate, that probably means that you haven't been able to live out consistently and abundantly in your zone of genius. And so what can you delegate or outsource that will make you run faster in the second half of this year? Okay. And then maybe this is all about specifically strategy. Like maybe you went into a new market or you were marketing yourself differently and you couldn't quite squeeze yourself into it. Maybe you thought, yes, this is like a great path for my business. And the feedback was maybe not, or maybe not this way. This is valuable feedback. We're always going to walk down paths and try things as business owners that don't always work out. But what works is that gives us intel to course correct. And right now is the time to course correct. I want you to figure out what you need to change to still go after your goals. Double down on them. If you are not in the right mindset right now, you're not going to be able to take this valuable gift that the last 6 months has honestly given you with tons and tons of information about how to move forward over the next 6 months. If you need more help with recreating your strategy, I want you to go back and listen to episode 73, which was all about creating a strategic plan, where I go deeper into these types of questions on how to create your quarterly strategic plan based on your goals. You know, this entire episode came up because I had to come to my own fork in the road in my business. Revenue-wise, product-wise, strategy-wise. I'm not where I plan to be at this point in my business in relation to my goals. And I want to be really honest with you because I had a really tough decision to make on my own path, whether I would double down on my current goals or I would reset my goals. Honestly, the first half of the year, behind the scenes presented a bunch of not fun stuff. I had been in a car accident in November of the end of last year, and I was dealing with that aftermath for months and months into this year. And so I felt like I got kind of like a false start. And then after that happened, I got extremely ill and I was dealing with some health issues that really took up a lot of energy and mental headspace where I wasn't in a place where I could just hit like overdrive in my business. I really needed to take care of my body, mentally, physically, and be here for my family. And so I didn't hit the ground running as I anticipated, to be completely honest. But I have decided what I was going to do. And I had already decided this actually 2 months ago. Like I already knew okay, so I lost 4 or 5 months and again, didn't lose them, but I knew I wasn't where I wanted to be. And I knew that I needed to reset and recommit. And the truth is that excites the hell out of me because we have the ability to determine our destiny at any time. We have the ability with a decision that we make to have any day of the year be the first day of our year. And I think that is so, so empowering. Now, perhaps you have a big decision to make, and perhaps you've gone through some really heavy stuff and you can't easily recover. As long as you're not just making excuses for yourself and sabotaging your success, there is no shame in choosing to go right on your path, which is to reset your goals and recreate a strategy to attain them. And so to take this back to my example here, I have chosen to distribute the revenue that has missed at the 6-month mark and make it up in Q3 and Q4. So in my example, let's just say that my goal was 100,000. I was deficient by 25,000 at the 6-month mark, which means I can either reduce my annual goal to 75,000, or I can take that $25,000 deficit and figure out how can I make that up over the next 2 quarters, which would be adding $12,500 on top of my $25,000, which leads to $37,500 each quarter. And if I was able to make that up, right, that deficit up, then I will still hit my annual goal. It just wasn't initially how I had determined it was going to go, which is completely okay. But let's just say life was hard, because honestly, there are many, many seasons of life that has involved divorce for some, custody battles. Maybe you had a surgery or hospitalization of yourself or a close loved one, a death in the family, having to take care of a sick parent or child. Heavy stuff sucks the life out of so many of us. And when I say sucks the life, it means our businesses require so much of who we are, of our energy and our commitment and our time. And when these heavy things happen, it actually makes sense, because if you ask me, that's what life is about, is being able to be there for those that we love and to make it through these seasons of our life. And so if you found yourself in one of these life-altering experiences in this season of your life, it is completely okay to make a right turn and say, I am resetting my goals and creating a strategy to attain them. But what I have found is that oftentimes there's no decision made at this fork in the road. And so what that means is you haven't recommitted to making your, original goal, but you're also not recommitting to a new one. And so anything that has happened in the last 6 months, whether it be negative or you hit a bad season in your business or you tried a new program that launched and failed, we take that into the next season of our lives or our businesses, and we don't wash it off. We don't reset. We don't clear our mindset and say it ends now and now I'm moving into another season. Okay. Now, I am referencing this in a calendar season, as in halfway through the year. But if you are smack in the middle of a season of your life that is taking your focus and your energy, then the reset needs to happen when you're coming on the tail end of that. And maybe that's a couple months from now. Maybe it's a couple weeks from now. Everyone has different seasons of their business and different seasons of their life. And you have to recognize where you're at, and you have to do your best with where you're at in your life. That's what I really, truly feel. These are life-altering experiences that force you to put your ambitious business goals on the back burner sometimes. And honestly, there's no shame in that. The shame in that, or feeling shameful that you have to redirect your time and your energy, is actually, in my opinion, what sabotages our success much longer after these types of experiences happen. And I know that this is real life. And my guess is you're listening to this and you've either experienced this or you will experience it. Because I have worked with so many business owners, and I have navigated with them going through all of these things: divorce and children being sick and taking care of elderly parents and having illness themselves, or losing their house because of something happening, a fire. I mean, I have literally heard stories of business owners, my clients, that have navigated very difficult times. And in those seasons, you have to have grace with yourself and do what you can to maintain the business. Okay. And so in that season, it might not be about, going in overdrive and being so ambitious with the next level of your business, but rather to maintain it so that it's still providing for your family. All right. So you know what? If that's the season that you're in, it's okay. You're not alone. Life can get messy. And I mean really, really messy. You may have been handed lemons, and no one can make wine out of lemons, but you can charge forward and make some pretty badass lemonade. So my question to you is are you going to make lemonade out of your lemons right now? Maybe you haven't suffered a rough season. Okay. So for right now, I was speaking to a very specific person, and I bet you think I'm talking right to you. But perhaps you have not suffered through a rough season in your personal life, but it's still decision time. And you may find yourself here because you have sabotaged yourself, or you have not fully committed to your business, or for a wide variety of reasons that I couldn't possibly say here, but you may have still found yourself at this fork in the road. I want you to reevaluate where you are in relation to your goals and determine your goals. And if you've determined that your goals are unrealistic and unattainable, then perhaps going right is exactly what you need to do. Maybe you were so optimistic at the beginning of the year that once you hit the ground running and hit the market and really tested things out, it was clear that your goals are actually unrealistic and unattainable. And the best thing you can do is be realistic with yourself. Because if our mind believes that a goal is unattainable or unrealistic, we will actually work against ourselves and sabotage ourselves because we don't truly believe in it. I think that all our goals need to feel like they're just outside our comfort zone, that they're a little bit risky. But if your mind wholly thinks that there is no possible way that you're going to attain it and you don't have the belief that you will, then you will continue to sabotage yourself. I want you to evaluate if you have the right skill sets, tools, resources, connections, endurance, or time right now to achieve those goals that you had set out for yourself. You're just maybe too far off the mark, and there's no way that you're going to achieve your goals by the end of the year. And if that's the case, stop trying to swim against the current. It can only harm your confidence, motivation, and drive. I want you to be confident moving forward towards your goals and feel the motivation when you wake up daily that, yes, this is a goal that if I work hard and consistently and show up, that I am motivated and driven to achieve it. But if you find that you are seriously swimming upstream and that they're not attainable, then maybe the right choice for you is to reset your goals to be attainable. Still ambitious, but attainable. Then go after them with everything you've got and truly fight for your goals. Double down on yourself and go after them like you've never gone after them before. I caution you, however, that when it's decision time, make sure that you're not just giving yourself an undeserved pass to step down your goals because you haven't been going after them full force. Doing so can become a nasty annual habit and keeping you from attaining any sort of success. So you have got to be honest with yourself. You've got to be honest with the resources and how you are going to move forward and not just give yourself a free pass out because that feels good in the moment, because that is when you will find yourself saying the same goal year after year after year because you have found yourself negotiating yourself right out of your goals. Have a brutal conversation, honest conversation with yourself, and that will only serve you and your business, and honestly, the world, because you will be showing up your best. Whatever decision you make at the fork in the road, make sure that you're going into the last half of the year with the right mindset. Truly, mindset is one of the most powerful things that you can have in your corner. If you choose to take a left and recommit to your goals, redetermine your strategy, and refocus your efforts, then reprogram your mindset to believe you can do this, and you will. Be your own biggest cheerleader. I love to say this. Honestly, no one is going to show up and cheerlead for you more than you will for yourself. And as you cheerlead for yourself, you will find that people are surrounding you and cheerleading for you and with you, but you've got to be your biggest cheerleader. Use the power of affirmations to reprogram your mind to be capable of success. There is a huge link between your thoughts and your results. If you choose to take the right, which is resetting your goals and creating a strategy, then reprogram your mindset to say what happened is in the past and was the past. Learn from it and allow yourself to move forward without dragging along the baggage of your missteps, mistakes, and regrets. Leave it in the past. Commit to starting a clean slate for yourself. Now, you may not be listening to this at the halfway mark of the year. You could be listening to this at any time. And my words for you are, any day can be your clean slate. Kick the negative self-talk to the curb and replace it with transformative affirmations, reinforcing that you're now on the right path and fully equipped to tackle your new goals. If you want additional help reprogramming your mindset for success, then I want you to tune in to episode 9, where I talk with a very special guest, my son, Eric De La Garza, about affirmations and how to create affirmations. I have gotten so much feedback that this is one of the most powerful episodes that I have shared to date because the message is coming from the most unexpected source. So head back to episode 9 and take a listen. Creating goals for your business is of the utmost importance. You've got to have a target to know where you're aiming for. Beating yourself up over a missed milestone or revenue goals over the last 6 months, though, isn't going to do any good for you. None. Zero. No good for you. Reevaluate how misaligned you really are with your original goals. Because honestly, sometimes we make it so much bigger in our heads. I want you to know your numbers. I want you to know very clearly how much did you miss your goal. Oftentimes, it's not as big as we have in our heads. And I want you to make your Midsummer Night's decision and move forward full throttle towards your original goal or your new one. I have loved having you listen to Productivity Straight Talk, but I need to be straight with you. No change, no change. Without taking action, nothing will change for you or your business. So based on what I talked to you about today, what action or decision are you willing to make today? Today's episode is a huge call to action that I bet that if you continue to listen to this episode, it means that you may have missed your mile marker of being halfway through the year. And that is okay. But what's not okay is to leave this episode and not make a decision. Are you going to go left or are you going to go right? There is truly no wrong decision. But what will be really, really not good for your business is to make no decision at all. So I urge you to sit with this and maybe listen to this episode again and truly come to your own answer of what is the best decision for you and your business. I would love to connect with you over inside our private Productivity Straight Talk community. If you're not already a member, you can join us for free by going to productivitycommunity.com. Again, that's productivitycommunity.com. And those of you that are already members of our private Facebook community, head on over and share with me your thoughts of this episode. I really want to know, did this hit home for you? What decision are you recommitting to? Are you going left or are you going right? I would love to hear from you. You know, I talk really to myself inside of a mic, hoping that I'm hitting home on some topics and with some knowledge and examples that really, really hit home to you. But if I don't hear from you, I'm just talking inside a mic and I'm sourcing from my experience with my clients that this is something that will really, really resonate with you, my listener. But what I would love is to hear from you. So if this episode was of value to you, then head on over to our private Facebook community, or you can find me on Instagram. You can find me over there at Amber_De La Garza, and you can DM me and follow my stories. I do a lot of behind the scenes of a day in the life of Amber, the business, over on Instagram stories. So if you're not already following me, I'd love for you to head on over and do so. And before we close out, I just want to remind you about my VIP Accelerator program. If you've been giving this some thought and you're not quite sure if it's a right fit for you, then head on over to my website, theproductivityspecialist.com, and schedule a discovery call. And on that call, all we're going to do is chat about your goals, what are your current challenges, and I will share with you the best ways that I think we can work together to achieve the results that you want. So head on over to theproductivityspecialist.com and schedule your discovery call to figure out what are the best ways that we can work together to achieve your goals. So that's my straight talk for you today. And until next time, have a productive week.